What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Bernard, the executioner, Hopkins. Get this, Bernard Hopkins has a brutal verdict for Errol Spence Jr., and this is what he had to say. He said, what Crawford, did to Spence and how he did it, that counts as 3 fights to me. And it took 4 fights off of Spence, right? Oof. I am a fighter, so I can tell you that when you get punished like that, it takes a few years out of you. You don't see the years right now, but it sort of takes something out of that person going forward. They'll still win some fights, but it really puts a bruise on you. You ain't seen Spence fight yet, did you? Did you hear him name an opponent to potentially fight? It has been quiet. Have you seen the weight that he has gained? That tells you. Those are the words of Bernard Hopkins, and let me counterpunch. Bernard Hopkins is simply saying that the way that Terrence Crawford beat him, he'll never be the same. You know, Bernard's looking at it through the lens of somebody that fought, played hard, fought hard, and resigned. Okay? You know, and I think that Bernard Hopkins is looking at Errol Spence, especially after that surgery. You know, maybe he's going to take a while off. You know, we will. The only way we can tell if Bernard Hopkins is correct is to put him in there with somebody else. But, you know, Bernard said, hey, he'll win some fights, but he ain't going to never be like he was. You know, he got the brakes beat off of him. And, you know, it's going to tell. I hope that's not the case. But what I saw with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I saw a person get picked apart, beat up, demolished, and retired. That's what I saw. I was surprised like everyone else. I knew Terrence Crawford was the better fighter just based on his style, his ring IQ, his counterpunching ability. His style altogether for Errol Spence was wrong because Errol Spence comes in chopping these shots, coming behind the jab, you know, fighting someone like Terrence Crawford that advanced. I just did not see that ever. Errol Spence doing that. Unless Errol caught him with something and he was too big, like a lot of people thought. No, man, Errol's too big for Terrence. Terrence is coming up from 135 to 140 to 147. And guess what? You know, he ain't going to be able to deal with Errol Spence. We were wrong. Terrence Crawford came in there and beat the brakes off of Errol Spence. He showed him that he was stronger. He showed him that he was faster. He showed him that he could hit harder. He beat him in every possible single way. You know what I mean? And then not only did he beat him up. He didn't like a couple rounds he did, you know, kind of give him a break, I think. But then I think Terrence was like, okay, let me stop messing with this dude and take him out. Then by round 7, it was over with. You know, and he did beat the ever-living, loving stuffing out of Errol, the big fish, Spence. Filleted, broiled, cooked, ate. But is it too late? I don't know. Now, you do know this is Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins is co-promoter of Golden Boy Promotions. Golden Boy, once upon a time, promoted Errol Spence. Now, if you were a Spence fan, you could easily argue that maybe Bernard is saying it like this and rubbing it in, sticking it in, and twisting it like he's doing simply because of that reason. Maybe it's bitterness, like you should have stayed with us. You would have been in that situation anyhow. But that's the fight everybody wanted to see. So if he was with you, Bernard and Oscar, would you have gave him or got him the fights he wanted to see? Would you have made him a star like Al Heyman had him to be? Would that be the case? And the answer to that is, I don't know. But if they didn't and they couldn't get him the Terrence Crawford fight because that's the only fight that mattered, they would be in that bag or left with that bag to blame that they could not secure a deal with Bob Arum, okay, with Terrence Crawford. Because that, you know, no negotiations should linger that long to make a fight happen. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Bernard, the executioner, the alien Hopkins, telling Errol Spence where his future is to be seen. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.